Have you ever left a gathering feeling drained, frustrated, or even questioning why you went in the first place? As we grow older, every moment becomes more precious, and spending time with people who lift us is key to maintaining joy and well-being. But what if some of the gatherings you attend are quietly chipping away at your energy, finances, or even your health? In today's video, we're diving into the 4 types of gatherings you should avoid after 60. Whether it's events fueled by alcohol, gatherings with energy-draining people, groups that push unnecessary spending, or meetups with unrefined individuals, these can all have a surprising impact on your quality of life. Imagine freeing yourself from the stress of toxic gatherings and reclaiming your time for more meaningful connections. Stay with me to the end, as we'll explore each type of gathering, revealing why they're best left behind and offering practical advice on how to recognize and avoid these energy-draining situations. Let's make the most of every precious moment and create a life filled with positivity, purpose, and the kind of connections that truly enrich our lives. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Gatherings where alcohol plays a central role. As the chill of winter gives way to the warmth of spring, we find ourselves drawn into more social gatherings, reconnecting with friends, and even revisiting old traditions. These get-togethers can feel like an essential part of life, a chance to break free from routine, laugh, and share stories. But sometimes, there's an unexpected undercurrent, a hint of stress that creeps in even before you arrive. Have you ever found yourself wondering if it's even worth it to attend? Or returned home feeling not just tired, but emotionally drained, as if the evening took more than it gave? There's a particular type of gathering that we may want to reconsider, especially as we enter our later years. Gatherings where alcohol plays a central role. Ask yourself, do any of your regular social events fall into this category? Consider the story of a couple in their late 60s who, for years, had faithfully attended their husband's elementary school alumni gatherings. These quarterly meetups became a cherished tradition, bringing together people from the same era, reconnecting them with old friends, and reviving treasured memories of simpler times. At one of these larger reunions, they discovered a few friends who shared not just their past but also current interests. Together, they formed a smaller group, a kind of friendship circle that gathered more regularly. They contributed to a membership fund, met at charming local spots, and spent hours reminiscing, sharing laughter, and talking about their lives, each encounter leaving them refreshed and revitalized. One day, the group decided to take their gathering a step further and planned an overnight retreat to a guest house in the countryside. Normally, they'd meet at casual local spots, like a pub or a family-owned restaurant. But this change of pace brought a wave of nostalgia, like a long-awaited school trip. They all pitched in for the supplies, and the wives prepared a delightful home-cooked meal for everyone to enjoy together. What started as a wholesome, heartwarming dinner took an unexpected turn as the wine and spirits flowed freely. At first, it was just a few toasts to friendship, a glass here and there. But soon, the relaxed atmosphere turned boisterous. The men and women gradually split into 2 separate groups, each with its lively conversation. However, with alcohol involved, conversations shifted from cheerful chatter to heated debates. Tensions escalated as one of the women, perhaps emboldened by the alcohol, voiced a comment that didn't sit well with a close friend. It was a trivial disagreement, but it snowballed, turning into a heated argument. The men, overhearing the commotion, stepped in, only for tempers to flare even further. In a matter of moments, what was supposed to be a joyful, unforgettable gathering transformed into a chaotic scene of loud voices and even a physical fight among the men. Some friends who had drunk less managed to intervene, breaking up the fight, but the damage was already done. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. By morning, the harsh words, the regrettable actions under the influence of alcohol, and the bitter tension seemed to have disappeared as the fog lifted. But the emotional residue remained. Friendships that had felt strong and deep were now laced with discomfort and awkwardness. The joyful spirit that once connected this group now felt shattered. While they attempted to carry on, the bonds they had once cherished had irreversibly changed. Eventually, this once vibrant group stopped meeting, leaving them with only memories of a time that once felt so right, now tainted by a single, alcohol-fueled evening. This story underscores the types of gatherings we should avoid as we grow older, particularly when alcohol is at the heart of the event. Alcohol, no matter the occasion or the people involved, can often turn even the warmest settings into environments ripe for misunderstandings and regret. While some people remain lighthearted and relaxed, others can become surprisingly confrontational, bringing an uncomfortable edge to what should be a pleasant time together. But let's consider this. Gatherings don't need alcohol to be meaningful. Imagine replacing a wine glass with a cup of tea, or laughter fueled not by intoxication but by genuine connection. Conversations are richer, memories stay clearer, and friendships are preserved. As we age, preserving our peace and emotional well-being becomes an even greater priority, and it's essential to fill our lives with gatherings that truly support and lift our spirits. After all, health, both physical and emotional, demands our attention and respect. So, if you find yourself regularly attending gatherings where alcohol is the main attraction, it may be worth reflecting on the long-term impact of these events. It's never easy to step away from friends or traditions, but sometimes, taking a step back is exactly what's needed for personal growth and peace of mind. If a group values alcohol more than genuine connection, then perhaps it's time to focus on people who enrich your life without putting it at risk. After all, peace is worth far more than a single night of empty toasts. Choosing solitude over shallow relationships may seem daunting, but the comfort of being true to yourself and protecting your well-being is a priceless gift. 2. Gatherings filled with energy vampires. As we journey into our later years, our focus naturally shifts to finding fulfillment and peace, cherishing the present, and surrounding ourselves with people who uplift and inspire. One way to ensure this is by mindfully avoiding gatherings that seem to pull us down instead of raising us, particularly those filled with so-called energy vampires. These are the people who, whether they mean to or not, seem to drain the very joy, strength, and enthusiasm from everyone around them, often leaving us feeling emotionally exhausted and disheartened. Consider the scene at a typical neighborhood group where people, mostly in their early 60s and 70s, come together to catch up. These gatherings may look friendly on the surface, often happening at local restaurants or cafes where members chip in monthly fees to cover costs for a lunch outing. They seem to offer a welcome opportunity to reconnect and share life's updates. Yet, what might start as a well-intentioned social gathering frequently spirals into a parade of excessive bragging, personal triumphs, and, sometimes, unsolicited negativity. Rather than fostering a sense of warmth and support, these gatherings can quickly become emotionally overwhelming. Every conversation at these gatherings seems to revolve around a subtle, or sometimes not so subtle, competition over whose children have accomplished the most, whose grandchildren are attending the most prestigious schools, or who received the most extravagant gift. Perhaps one friend will proudly recount how her son surprised her with a gold necklace, and another will boast tearfully about her granddaughter's recent acceptance to an elite university. Rather than creating a space for empathy or connection, the group dynamic shifts into an exhausting exercise of one-upmanship, where everyone tries to outshine the last story. For some, it may even feel as if their value lies solely in the achievements of their family members, making the gathering more of a social obligation than a source of genuine connection. Amid these tales of pride, other conversations may turn to the darker, more somber aspects of life. Some members may start sharing deeply personal and troubling updates, like a spouse's ongoing illness, a child's failed business, or their health struggles. These heavy stories can quickly weigh down the group, adding layers of sadness and frustration that can linger for days. Rather than feeling supported, attendees may leave these gatherings burdened with the negativity that was passed around as casually as an appetizer. One woman in her mid-60s who has reluctantly attended such gatherings in her neighborhood for over 3 decades, recalls how she often comes away feeling not only exhausted but, at times, deeply resentful. She describes feeling trapped in a cycle where each meeting fills her with frustration and sadness, clouding her mood for days afterward. Despite her long-standing membership, she's finally realized that her emotional well-being is far more valuable than maintaining these connections out of tradition. After this year, she plans to step back from attending these meetings, acknowledging that she deserves more from her social interactions. Real friendships that bring comfort, positivity, and mutual respect. This woman's experience is, sadly, not unique. Many of us have encountered energy vampires, individuals who are so consumed with their own lives that they remain oblivious to how their actions and words affect others. These gatherings are, for them, a stage to indulge in their own experiences without concern for anyone else's feelings or perspectives. Whether they're unaware of the harm they cause or simply indifferent to it, their behavior drains those around them, leaving a lingering sense of depletion. It's a burden that becomes harder to bear as we age, and at a time when peace and happiness should be our guiding priorities, it's crucial to recognize the value of our time and energy. In our later years, every precious moment should be filled with people who make us feel valued, seen, and appreciated. This stage of life deserves the kind of relationships that allow us to walk away feeling lighter, happier, and deeply understood. As our time becomes increasingly precious, it is essential to guard it fiercely, to reserve it for people and experiences that nourish our souls. Our energy is finite, and there's no reason to spend it in situations where we are merely enduring rather than thriving. If you, too, find yourself at gatherings that leave you feeling more drained than delighted, consider stepping back. Embrace the idea that friendships should be mutual havens, not battlegrounds for attention or sources of uninvited negativity. Cherish connections that bring warmth, positivity, and encouragement. Life is far too short to spend with people who cannot respect and reciprocate the kindness and empathy we give. As you protect your peace, you may find that by letting go of energy-draining gatherings, you open space for new friendships that bring joy, laughter, and lightness to your heart. 3. Gatherings that pressure you into unnecessary spending or investments. As we reach our later years, the longing for genuine connection, companionship, and warmth becomes even more meaningful. It's deeply human to seek out relationships that make us feel valued and heard. Sadly, this natural vulnerability is exactly what makes older individuals the target of gatherings designed to exploit these very needs, often through subtle yet insidious pressure to spend money or make risky investments. If you're over 60 or know someone in this age group, it's crucial to recognize how harmful these situations can become. You may have heard the term promotion hall in the news before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. These spaces are notorious for being places where people, especially the elderly, are manipulated into purchasing items they neither need nor want. With COVID-19 restrictions lifting, such gatherings have re-emerged, adapting their strategies but maintaining the same ruthless goal, targeting lonely, often isolated individuals with a promise of community, only to drain them financially. Consider the story of a 70-year-old grandmother who found herself feeling lonely after the pandemic. A kindly neighbor encouraged her to join a local social group, promising that it would be a great way to pass the time and make friends. Little did she know, this would lead her down a path of emotional manipulation and financial loss. This group met in the dimly lit basement of a nondescript city building, a hidden space where they offered free singing performances, laughter, and what seemed like endless companionship. They'd give out small gifts like a dozen eggs or tissues, items that felt practical and needed, to anyone who attended. These weren't just handouts. They were clever tools, meant to make each person feel special and appreciated. For this grandmother, these gatherings quickly became the highlight of her days. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Imagine the relief she must have felt. She had Herb friends who called her mother and listened to her stories with genuine interest, or so she thought. Even though her son rarely visited, these people welcomed her with open arms, giving her the sense of family she had longed for. Day after day, she attended these gatherings, even rearranging her schedule so she wouldn't miss a single one. In their company, she felt a warmth and sense of belonging that she hadn't felt in years. This sense of acceptance became as nourishing to her as the air she breathed. Then, slowly and subtly, things began to change. What started as friendly social meetings transformed into product demonstrations and sales pitches disguised as advice for healthy aging. Her trusted friends now encouraged her to invest in health products they claimed would improve her life. Deer horn extract, black garlic supplements, and various medical devices, all presented as miraculous solutions to her health worries. She heard the same message repeatedly. This will keep you young. This will prevent illness. We care about your well-being. The emotional manipulation was deep and methodical. With everyone around her eagerly purchasing these items, she felt increasing pressure to do the same. She feared seeming ungrateful or unworthy if she didn't buy something. How could she reject the care they showed her? At first, she began with small purchases, spending tens of thousands of won on items that she didn't need, rationalizing that it was a small price to pay for the company she enjoyed. But as the weeks went by, her spending grew. The same items she didn't need started piling up in her small home, filling corners and taking up space. Eventually, she realized she had spent hundreds of thousands of won on products that brought little more than clutter and regret. When her family finally visited for the holidays, they were shocked. Boxes and bags were piled up, a stark reminder of her emotional and financial vulnerability. Seeing the mess, her children couldn't believe how much she had spent on these gatherings. The grandmother, too, felt a sinking realization of how she'd been manipulated into spending beyond her means, all for a false sense of connection. Despite the frequent warnings in the media about scammers exploiting the elderly in these promotion halls, she found it nearly impossible to believe that her newfound friends could be so calculating. She had been genuinely convinced of their kindness, so much so that even in the face of undeniable evidence, she struggled to accept the truth. She wanted to believe that they cared for her health and well-being, even when it became clear that the goal was only to profit off her trust and loneliness. This scenario isn't isolated. Sadly, many older individuals, especially those living alone, find themselves in similar situations, as they're lured into these so-called friendship circles, only to be taken advantage of by people with little regard for the emotional and financial toll. Another story involves a 68-year-old grandfather, who, under similar pressure, began purchasing expensive health supplements and medical devices. Over time, his financial losses amounted to tens of millions of won. When the police finally intervened, he begged them not to involve his family, especially his son, fearing the shame and embarrassment that would follow. In his eyes, it was easier to suffer alone than to let his family know the painful truth. For many elderly individuals, the stigma and shame of being deceived often stop them from seeking help. They feel guilt, embarrassment, and a lingering disbelief that the friends they trusted could have had such selfish intentions. These experiences serve as a sobering reminder of how fragile human connection can be and how, unfortunately, some people are willing to exploit it for personal gain. If someone you know is inviting you to attend such a gathering, I urge you to reconsider. The promise of companionship shouldn't come at the cost of your financial security. Don't allow a gift of eggs or a bottle of cooking oil to pave the way to draining your life savings or wasting hard-earned money on unnecessary items. Seek support from those who genuinely care, friends, family, or verified community groups. In times of loneliness, it's far safer to find meaningful connections through trusted sources than to risk everything on those who see vulnerability as an opportunity for profit. Protect yourself, protect your loved ones, and don't let anyone take advantage of your desire for friendship and community. 4. Gatherings with unrefined or low-class individuals. Gathering with unrefined or low-class individuals becomes especially draining as we grow older, particularly after the age of 60, when our time, peace, and well-being become increasingly precious. By this stage in life, we deserve to be surrounded by people who uplift and respect us. People who understand the value of kindness, empathy, and shared joy. Yet in many social gatherings, whether they are reunions with former classmates, meetups with old colleagues, or even hobby groups. There are often individuals who bring nothing but stress and unnecessary tension. These gatherings, instead of being joyful, turn into burdens simply because certain people lack the grace or humility to make the experience enjoyable for everyone. Think about it. When a group comes together, many small details need attention, like deciding the meeting time and place, agreeing on menus, and even organizing fees or costs if necessary. Ideally, such tasks are managed harmoniously, with everyone pitching in to make the gathering as smooth and enjoyable as possible. However, this is rarely the reality in groups where unrefined individuals are involved. Instead of working together, some people impose their preferences, often ignoring the needs or comfort of others. They insist on times and locations that fit only their schedule, disregarding everyone else. They might dictate the meal choices, without even knowing or caring about the dietary needs or preferences of other group members. This selfishness can be exhausting, particularly when you're simply looking for a peaceful, enjoyable experience. And then there are those whose manner of speaking or behavior makes everyone uncomfortable. Perhaps because they feel a sense of familiarity from years past, they throw around harsh words and rude comments, thinking that friends since childhood means they can act however they like. Some even bring outdated workplace attitudes, treating others as if they're subordinates rather than friends. They expect others to defer to them, assuming that their previous role as a boss or senior colleague grants them authority in social gatherings too. But at this stage of life, gatherings should be about camaraderie, not power dynamics. It's frustrating and disheartening to witness these people tarnish what should be moments of shared happiness. In hobby groups, where people come together over shared passions, you would hope for warmth and camaraderie. Yet even here, some individuals attend with hidden agendas, using these gatherings as platforms for self-promotion or personal gain rather than to foster genuine connection. They might try to exploit relationships, seeking favors or opportunities without any intention of giving back. This lack of authenticity is not only disappointing but also wears on your spirit over time. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. It's easy to think that wealth, a good job, or fancy clothes might indicate refinement, but true class has nothing to do with outward appearance or material success. Refinement comes from within. It's the ability to respect others, to listen, and to engage with kindness and humility. Many dress impeccably or boast of high positions, yet lack even the basic decency to consider others' feelings. And there are people, seemingly oblivious to their behavior, who are incapable of self-reflection, unable to look back on their actions and see how they impact those around them. For those of us over 60, gatherings should bring a sense of ease and warmth, not stress and discomfort. Time spent with others should be uplifting, offering a sense of companionship and joy. If you find that a gathering consistently leaves you feeling drained, or that certain individuals make you feel unseen or unappreciated, it's worth considering whether that group is truly serving your well-being. Ask yourself, is it worth the emotional and financial cost to participate in gatherings where your peace is compromised? Choosing not to engage with unrefined individuals isn't about elitism. It's about protecting your mental and emotional health. There is immense value in surrounding yourself with a few good people, individuals who genuinely care and who make you feel comfortable and respected. These are the people who lift you, who bring laughter and lightness into your life, and who remind you that even in small groups, you can find joy and companionship. Life is too short, especially as we grow older, to waste it on people who bring negativity and selfishness into our world. Seek those gatherings where you feel valued, where mutual respect reigns, and where you can relax, knowing you're among friends who truly understand the beauty of shared moments. This, ultimately, is the essence of refined living in our later years. As we wrap up, let's reflect on everything we've discussed. These precious years are meant to be filled with enriching connections and uplifting experiences, surrounded by people who value and respect you. So, I'd love to hear from you. What has stood out to you most? What's one thing you've learned from this video that you'll bring into practice in your own life? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to read them. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more insights like these. Thank you for being here, and here's to living each day with more peace and joy.